Good morning, this is Jack from Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 5th of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at the oil prices, which obviously we had a bit of a crisis in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. Oil prices were spiking up, more on the Brent crude than on WTI, but we saw a significant move up, but it didn't really much affect equities, which were down 30, which is it's got back at the moment, but that was showing some resilience here, which is good because I'm still expecting this to go a bit higher. I've got some targets above I would love to see hit, and this brings us closer to those. Where are those targets I would love to see hit? There are these two trend lines here. This is the one on SPX, and I've got the target there in probably about the 73.80 area now. This is, of course, a rising trend line. So it is moving every day. On Qs, I've got the target in about the 693 area at the moment. Again, a rising target. So we would obviously, to make that, we'll need to see going up again, but I'm thinking we might be doing that. We will see how that goes. We didn't have a sell signal on ES. We are just coming back into the retest of the all-time high. NQ, we're already at the retest of the all-time high. We've got a weak 60-minute sell signal fixed here. If we have a strong day today, that is likely to fail. RTY, 60-minute sell signal reached the possible near-miss target, so that's pretty much signed off as well. That is pretty close to the all-time high at the moment. YM, which is the only one that hasn't made a new all-time high on this move up, we've still got a nice-looking double top here, as we do potentially on RTY. Potential point of failure to be sure, but what I would like to see is a move up which goes back and retests this high here from February. All right, looking at DAX. Bit of a spike down yesterday, but we didn't get down below the flag low. We don't have an obvious pattern here. This is the sort of thing where I'd be looking for a potential level bottom or an IHS right shoulder. We don't really have one of those, he said. Hang on. Okay, we do have one of those, but I don't actually like it a great deal. But this could be an IHS to take us back up to the high. This is a flag, and the obvious target for that flag would be a retest of this high here, just under 25,000. So it could be that it's setting up to do that, but is it a great looking IHS? Got to say, not pretty, but still a potential contender. In terms of ESDX, we've got a more or less double bottom. We didn't quite make a lower low here, but I'm going to draw that in. So we could be about to see a move up. Now, if we do see a move up, that makes those flag targets on DAX and ESDX, what would generally happen is that would be in response to a move that was led at the moment by SPX and TEC. So we will see how that goes. I would like to see that move. I've got targets for that move. Whether we will see that move or not, we will see. All right, looking at Nikkei. Nikkei is just trading sideways at the moment. We haven't actually got any upside targets here. We didn't really have a flag. This is an all-time high already. So we've got a 60-minute buy signal. That's reached the possible near-miss target. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture. Okay, looking at SPX and ES. ES, we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signal brewing. Pretty close to all-time highs. We haven't got an obvious pattern from this low here at 63.53, but I'm thinking we may well get one. Looking at the SPX daily chart, RSI 5 sell signal fixed, weak RSI 5 sell signal, RSI 14 sell signal has also fixed. Again, I'm not really looking at an obvious pattern here. We broke slightly below the rising support trend line I was watching yesterday. This is a work in progress rising support trend line. So if, as and when we start a move up, which takes us to significant new highs, at that point, I would have a working trend line. Until then, we will see. All right, looking at Qs. Qs, we are obviously not really seeing the upper daily upper band as a target here with the with the Bollinger Bands blown out as far as they are. We've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed. We've got a full size one brewing. And actually at the moment we've got, I think we might have killed the old, sorry, I think we got a possible RSI 14 sell signal is brewing there. Hang on one second, I'm just going to correct that. So not fixed yet, but encouraging. This is slightly concerning from the point of view of going higher. We are getting an increasing amount of negative divergence on the daily chart, and there is a possibility, of course, it could just turn and go. But the main reasons I'm thinking that won't happen are: one, I've got some nice trendline targets above. Two, we don't really have patterns from the low here. We've got more of that on Qs, but it's still not particularly convincing. I would like to see this go higher and make better patterns on basically Qs and SPX. Looking at Dia, we're obviously looking for the daily middle band to hold, because if we break below it, then we're just going to start breaking down from this double top, and that would increase the chances that we are already turning. We've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed. That will not be growing up into a full sell signal as we've gone below the 50 level here. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence. Nice looking little level top. Here, looking at IWM and Dia, we've got nice looking double tops here, and we've got better pattern setups. In terms of the needs to go higher to improve the patterns, mainly I'm talking about SPX and I'm talking about the Qs. The setup is already pretty decent looking on Dia. We had a nice looking channel here that broke down. We had a flag. We retested the high. This is actually a classic topping setup. So it's mainly on SPX and Qs. If we start seeing breaks down here with any confidence, then we may not be going any higher on the cycle. We might be on the way down already. All right, let's have a look at IWM. Bear with me a moment. All right, IWM on the daily chart, we've obviously made a new all-time high. We've got a lovely potential level top. We've got a possible full-size RSI 14 sell signal brewing, but we've got nothing on the RSI 5. But RSI 14 still got decent signals. We've got two previous ones on this chart. They've both made target, or at least possible near miss target in both cases. In terms of hourly charts, we had hourly sell signal that made target. We've gone back up to 70. Here, we had an okay looking rising wedge here. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad. This could be again a topping sequence like the one I was talking about on Dia. I'm leaning towards it going higher, but doesn't necessarily have to. We shall see. All right, looking at DAX. DAX, we are holding above the daily middle band at the moment, albeit, well, we basically closed on it last night. I would like to see that hold the support and go back to retest this high here at 24.8. On Nikkei, we've already got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. We've already got a large double top here. We have no particular issues preventing this going down. And of course, Asia is getting hit the worst. Got hit first and worst on oil because 80% of the oil through these Strait of Hormuz goes straight to Asia. So this is getting hit harder. This may, of course, turn first. All right, let's have a look at DX, which is still trading sideways. We've still got a double top that's broken down with a target in the 96.76 to 96.99 range, and we're still not making that target yet. We've also got a bear flag here that broke down with a target at a retest of this low, and that hasn't made target either. 60-minute buy signal has now reached possible near miss target. Not seeing an awful lot on the rest of the currencies here. We've still got an IHS here, which hasn't made target on UUSD, target being at 1.1875. GBP USD, sell signal made target. USD JPY, buy signal made target, and we've got a double bottom which is broken up here with a target in the 159.18 to 159.25 area. This could mean that this double top that's broken down with a target in the 154.46 to 154.68 range is not going to make that target. That's not that unusual in this instance because this was government intervention to strengthen the yen, because when dollar JPY goes down, it is strengthening the yen. So we shall see how that goes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this double bottom play out. All right, USD CAD, not seeing an awful lot. Possible bottoming action. Australian dollar, nice looking double top. NZ, nice looking double top. All right, let's have a look at bonds, which had a bad day yesterday. Oil went up, bonds went down. Dollar didn't respond as much, and the response was also muted on equities. This is a likely bear flag heading back into a retest for this low here, which I've got in about the 111.21 area, and we haven't made that target yet. On ZN, I'm looking for a retest of this low here in the 109.27 area, and we haven't made that target yet, but I think those targets will be made, and then we will likely continue down. Okay, looking at DX, sorry, I'm looking at coil. Brent crude, possible little level top here. We saw a new all-time crisis high at the highs yesterday. Seeing how that develops from here. CL, we've got a move up here into the 110 area, which we haven't quite managed to get back to. I'm still expecting oil to go up a lot over coming months. I think at the moment we're using up basically strategic reserves and so on, and stuff that was already beyond the Strait of Hormuz when the crisis started. But we are not looking at any meaningful restoration of the traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, and it's now been a couple of months of basically global reserves dropping by more than 10 million barrels a day. That is a lot, and that is going to catch up with the market, at which point there is going to be a fairly brutal repricing upwards. This is my chart of the day today. This is the Strait of Hormuz, daily transit calls. Basically, it stopped at the start of the Iran war, and it hasn't meaningfully resumed since. So we will see how that goes. But I'm expecting this to cause, I think the main oil shock that we're looking at is likely ahead of us. HO, this was a new crisis high. We're still pretty close to that. It looks like a little bull flag forming. RBOB, basically making new crisis highs pretty much every day lately. NG, seeing a bit of a rally here. We've got a 60-minute sell signal that's fixed. I think we may have finished on this little rally. I'd quite like to see it go a bit higher, but I wouldn't be surprised if it fell here. GC is still trading sideways. So we've got a little level top, which is broken down with a target in the 43.30, 43.60 area. I'm still thinking that might make that target. But the key thing is when oil starts rising a lot, i.e. not the little fluctuations we've been seeing lately, but actually going up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a barrel. What happens to gold then? I would like it to be a flight to safety, in which case it would go up. But of course, so far in this crisis, it has gone down. We'll see which way that goes. SI, looks like a flag which has broken down with a retest of the low, but this could be an ABC, of course. Heading back into a retest of the highs first. We will see. Palladium kind of looks like a bear flag too. Platinum looks like a bear flag that's broken down, but again, we could be looking at potentially at an ABC. HG, we made the double top target and we've been recovering strongly from there. I'm thinking this will turn with equities as and when equities turn, which I'm not thinking is right now. In terms of KC, looks like an overall bear flag or triangle forming. SB made the IHS target in the 1520 area. Waiting to see whether this continues upward. I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue upward. CC, we have had a lovely bear flag here for ages, and it's breaking up. This does happen 30% of the time. In terms of a bear flag channel, it's dead. This is not a bearish overthrow. So watching to see what develops next, but this is no longer a bear flag channel. All right, CT, still at highs. We've got a double bottom, which is broken up. I'm still looking for targets higher. Lumber, wondering if this is going to resume the downtrend. Might be waiting for equities to turn before that happens. Wheat, we've also broken up for a double bottom. We're seeing a bit of a pullback afterwards, which isn't unusual. I'm expecting it to resume the uptrend afterwards. Corn hasn't yet broken up from, it's very close though. Hasn't yet broken up from the double bottom, but is getting pretty close to doing so. Soy, looking at this as an IHS, looks as though we may be heading back up into the IHS right shoulder high, which is here. And this may be close to breaking up too. I'm expecting all of these to break up and make their targets. Cotton, wheat, corn, and soy. I think these have sizable uptrends ahead of them. ZL has already been making higher highs for a while. Live cattle. We're seeing a bit of a pullback here. 6-minute sell signal fixed, hasn't made the possible near miss target yet. But I think this is at the moment still looks like an overall uptrend. HE, we've gone back and retested, done a full retest of the low, which I wanted. I now want it to turn back round and go up. We're still waiting to see whether that's going to happen. But if it goes significantly lower from here, then this isn't likely to be an overall bull flag forming. because we're going to be significantly below the 61.8. That doesn't rule a bull flag out altogether, but it makes it less likely. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Cheers.